Hello and welcome back to the channel for some more Prime Cutz, where we look at some of the odder things in Amazon Prime Video's gallery of offerings. This time around we have Scanners, a 1981 Canadian science fiction film which was written and directed by David Cronenberg, who of course would go on to great success. We open up following Cameron Vale. He's a homeless vagrant, essentially, and he's in this food court in a mall where these women are discussing him and, what they don't like about his smell. And as he stares at them, horrifying things happen, because as we soon discover, Vale is a scanner, meaning he has, fairly undefined powers in this film. He is captured and he wakes up to meet Dr. Paul Ruth, here played by Patrick McGowan, who is known for The Prisoner. And Dr. Ruth goes on to explain why Cameron can hear voices in his head. We soon cut across to Consec, a private security firm, where a talk is being given by one of their scanners who's already on their payroll, and demonstrating in theory that he can get secrets out of people's heads. He asks for a volunteer and this man comes down. As you've already spotted, this is Michael Ironside, so this of course is our villain, but unknown to the man demonstrating here. And we're building up in this scene to the most famous part of this film, which you've no doubt seen before. It is, of course, this poor man's head exploding. But by all means, the film isn't a gore fest. That's pretty much the climax of it in that sense of the word. Meanwhile, the company board are discussing the issue of scanners, with Kelleher here arguing that the program should be shut down. But Dr. Ruth rightly points out that a scanner has recently killed a bunch of their own men. Dr. Ruth has Vale in this kind of weird abandoned hospital warehouse type building, where we're getting the standard training sections of the film as Cameron learns how to control his powers. But as I say, it's a bit ill-defined what those powers are. It's kind of part telekinesis, part mind reading. It seems to change as the script needs it to. And this is where we get some backstory on Michael Ironside's character, Daryl Revok, who was in an asylum previously, having killed some people, and we see this video of him talking about voices in his head, and he's got this plaster across his forehead where he's drilled a hole into his own head. We pick up with Kelleher having a clandestine meeting with somebody who is kept secret. But if you've ever seen a thriller before, you will guess who this person is pretty much immediately. It has to be said, it's never quite clear why Kelleher is on Revok's side. Anyway, Cameron goes to an art exhibit to follow up on a lead as he's trying to infiltrate Revok's operation of scanner terrorists, essentially. So, as I say, before this, it's been implied that Cameron can control things with telekinesis, but here he has telepathy, so the film seems to mix the two of them up slightly. But he does get a lead to another scanner that he goes to talk to try and get some details around Revok's location and his plans. But as the two are talking, some assassins arrive, but not fancy brain-powered ones, just using shotguns. Vale is able to fight's not quite the right word, is it? But Vale is able to get away and incapacitate the assailants. He manages then to meet up with another group of scanners who are against Revok, because Revok is basically doing that old plan of he wants to take over the world and subjugate the rest of normal humanity and push on humanity to the next stage of evolution and all of that kind of stuff. But this is where we meet Jennifer O'Neill as Kim, who is basically going to be Cameron's kind of love interest slash partner through this. But once again, this meeting is ambushed by Revok's men, and yeah, it goes badly for pretty much everybody but Cameron and Kim, who do manage to escape. Following this, we cut back to ComSec, where Cameron and Kim have come in to tell people what they know, because this is the mission that Cameron's been sent on. So he's reporting back in, essentially with Kim as his informant. So, of course, Kelleher put into progress a plan to try and kill Kim so things aren't revealed. But before this, we've been told that the suppressant drug that suppresses the scanner's abilities that these two have been given was in fact a dummy. So as Kelleher interrogates Kim, he, unfortunately for him, finds out that she is able to use her powers. And along with Cameron, they escape the building, but in the middle of this, poor Dr. Ruth is killed. Now, it took me till about this point on the film to put a finger on where I thought Stephen Lack was familiar, and it's because he looks like Zachary Levi to me a little bit. Zachary Levi from Shazam and Chuck. Anyway, he then, in a further vagueness of powers, is calling up a computer to scan the computer with his mind to get information out of it. Kelleher convinces the scientists to blow up the computer, essentially, and it's a very protracted, long process because this is, I guess, the early 80s and computers are warehouse sized. Anyway, it explodes and kills everybody, including Kelleher, so his part of the film comes to an abrupt end. Then after we find some more things out about Revok's grand plan, where he's manufacturing a drug that turns people into scanners and giving that to pregnant women, we get to the two men facing off, and we actually learned that the two of them are brothers, both the sons of Dr. Ruth, who injected their mother with this chemical that makes scanners before they were born, before abandoning them. What a great guy Dr. Ruth is there. Of course, there's a final big confrontation, and this is probably another section where you might recognise some of the scenes, or this is the kind of clip that gets shown off often with Michael Ironside really going for it, really kind of hamming up his psychic battle here. Great stuff. The battle over. Kim comes into the room and she sees a charred corpse on the floor, which looks like Cameron, and what looks like Revok is in the corner, but is in fact Cameron, having psychically switched bodies at the last second. Anyway, that's Scanners. Apart from the memed head explosion, it's a fairly by the numbers thriller, and as I say, it doesn't really do a very good job of defining what a scanner's abilities are. It seems to chop and change as the film develops. In particular, the stuff with the computer is very bizarre. It's just, why is Cameron doing that? Isn't it easier for him to just go and pull the information out of somebody's head rather than going through this whole thing where he has to get in contact with the computer? But I guess this is probably a bit like War Games, where it's an early instance of people going, ooh, like internet kind of stuff is exciting and new, let's put that in our film. It did go on to spawn a couple of sequels, but to be honest, it's not one I think is really worth spending time with. You're much better looking at other parts of Cronenberg's work. In just a couple of years after this, he would make Videodrome and The Dead Zone, and then quickly followed by The Fly. So that's where I'd really engage with Cronenberg, and then go back to Scanners if you want to. But yeah, that's Prime Cutz for another time round. We'll take another look into the vaults of Amazon Prime soon, I'm sure. But until then, happy watching.